Hey everybody, and welcome back to the new season, season 9 of Indie Film
Hey,
Cafe. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm your old pal, the Moo Cow, aka Paulie Presenza. Mew.
Yes, and we have our special guest that's been on our show, geez, a lot. You're up there with Joe Turek, I think, as being one of our guests that have been on
Oh,
for
we can't find anybody. We get John Ward.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. If we can't find somebody we know, John Ward will do it as long. Oh, wait. What's your name, sir?
The old standby.
John Ward.
Yes. John, if we know we'll get John if we have a if we have the
Trustworthy John
right
Ward.
if we have the right thing for him because
John the Holy Cow Ward, yes.
he's been telling us there's stuff he will not do anymore. He is tired of certain movies
I
and
just can't. I just can't. Some stuff is so bad that I just can't do it anymore.
yes. But I chose this one because, first of all, I know John Ward's a lover of canon films. Like, that's just he's got the documentaries and, watches all the movies and, and whatnot. And this was one I hadn't seen, so I was excited about it
I hadn't seen
because,
it either.
yeah, I hadn't seen it. And it's the Chuck Norris movie because this is our first Chuck Norris movie, by the way. Our first one. It won't be the last, I'm pretty sure, but it's our first, and I'm surprised it's taken us 9 seasons to get to a Chuck Norris movie because
And
there's
it's
so
one of
many.
the later Chuck movies as well.
Yeah.
Because it's not really he's really kind of the classic '80s kind of action hero, and this was starting to get into the later period. And I'll be honest, I was kind of sick of Chuck Norris and his posturing at this point in his
Yeah.
career, but he got much worse as things got on. So this one wasn't quite so bad.
Yep. And this is the 1991 film The Hitman, which I think they parodied this in Sidekicks, if I'm correct. They had a little bit of parody in it. And we did Sidekicks so this is the second air. No, that is incorrect. I was wrong. This is the second Chuck Norris movie.
Yeah, second Chuck
Sidekicks was
Norris.
the first one. That's
Mhm.
right. So this is the second one. Jeez. God. Yeah, I totally messed that up. Oh well, it's the second one, which in the second Aaron Norse, one. But we'll get into all of this and everything after we listen to some mood music.
Music.
And we're back. So we're gonna be talking about The Hitman, the 1991 film. As I said, I hadn't seen it. John Ward, have you seen it?
Yes, I saw it in the theater.
Oh, wow. And so you weren't sick of Chuck Norris at this time.
Well, no, there was at the time, this was when Cliff and I were working in movie theaters when he was the manager and I was the usher or the assistant. We got, the Full Moon movie. Well, at the time it'd be the Empire movies. We got the Canon movies. So we got a lot of that stuff, and so I didn't have to go far to see this.
So
So I
did you
believe.
show up with your mullet hair extensions as a way of solidarity with Chuck?
Who thought of that? That is, granted, it's
People did
beautiful
that.
looking. That is Billy Ray Cyrus hair right there.
That's hockey hair, as my Canadian friends would say.
Yes,
Maybe that's why, because this is a Canadian movie. Maybe it was Canadian. It was some Canuck
An
hairstylist.
exploitation.
It was a Canuck hairstylist that was just like, you know what? Let's give you
It
that look.
seemed like it was extra mullety in this one too.
well,
Yeah.
I think it's to show time passage because at the beginning of the film he gets betrayed and his hair is only to about right here. And then it's like what, 3 years later, and it's all the way
It's
down
like
to
3 inches more, and nobody recognizes him except the one guy. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah,
It's his version of the glasses for Superman. He has the mullet.
That
Who are
can't
you?
possibly be Conroy. His hair's 3 inches longer.
I'm not gonna lie though, I really enjoyed this movie. Like I even wrote like on my Facebook last night that 80s and early 90s had some of the best action movies in my opinion. They just had some fun ones, and this was one of them in my opinion. This would be a movie I'd still watch today, like
I
more.
I have it
I
on
have
Blu-ray.
that. I have
Yeah, I
that.
would.
I think it's at the studio. But yeah, I have that like grouping of the
And it's
movies.
funny on the picture. It's got a great picture because at the time it was who had the longer mullet. Was it Chuck Norris? Was it Patrick Swayze? The mullet wars of the 80s
Oh
and 90s.
wow. I think Swayze wore it better.
I think Swayze, like I feel like Swayze was naturally like that. This was not natural for Chuck. It was just something. It was a different character for him, and it showed sort of. Even though he kind of always plays the same role, like with his lines.
You
Like the
think?
lines are just but I don't know. I really enjoyed the setup. I enjoyed him being a cop that almost dies, and
Chuck
then
Norris playing a cop? How unusual.
I mean, you don't even notice that he's a cop most of the time. It's
No.
funny.
Yeah, because his hair is normally like that.
Yeah.
And that's he's got the Chuck Norris hair.
The open shirt
But
disco look.
yeah, that's Invasion USA, which is a brilliant movie. The worst thing about this is, and it does have the great documentary Electric Boogaloo, which is much better than the Go Go Boys. But it's got 10 movies. Some of them are widescreen and some of them are full frame. This was full frame. So that kind of disappointed me when I saw at the beginning it said this film has been altered to fit your television screen. I'm like, oh crap, it's a full frame movie. Why
Is
isn't
that
this widescreen?
is that a box of Blu-rays or DVDs?
DVDs.
Oh, okay. Did that come out in Blu-ray?
I don't know. I found this for like $5
yeah,
at
Wow.
Walmart.
yeah, that's where I found mine too.
I thought it
Wow.
was misplaced. I'm like, wait a minute, this thing's like $5. I guess nobody was buying it, but
Well,
it's
and nobody likes DVDs anymore. They want
no, I
Blu-rays or
found this like a couple of years ago. I thought somebody put it in like a bin, like they went, oh, okay, and they just dumped it in the bin.
This was in
And then,
Walmart?
yeah, and
Yeah, I was
then
going to
when,
say, I don't think they do DVDs or movies anymore.
no, not
Uh,
really.
they still
Barely.
do. Yeah, they have some DVD, and the DVDs that they have are like the really indie, like ITN stuff, and everything like that. And so the really, really indie stuff they still do occasionally, but
Huh.
it's not like it used to be. And I don't know what's gonna happen because I feel like physical media is going to have a resurgence. It's just going to be a different thing. It's right now it's more boutique. People have to buy Criterions or Shout Factory or Scream, like different stuff in order to get
Well,
that stuff.
who owns the Golden Globus properties at this point?
That's a good question.
I like
Because
looking things
Canon
up.
doesn't exist anymore.
You're going to
No.
look that up?
Yeah, I like
Uh,
looking things up, so
Someone's got to own all those properties, and there was a ton of it.
While you're looking it up, I'm going to bring up the cast and the behind the scenes stuff for this. So it was directed by Aaron Norris, as I said before. Aaron was obviously the brother of Chuck, and they worked on a bunch of things
He did
together.
sidekicks too, didn't he?
Yeah, he directed Sidekicks as well. So this is the second Aaron Norris film that we've done. And but he's done Walker, Texas Ranger, Braddock, Missing in Action 3 as a director, a movie called Platoon Leader, Delta Force 2, the Colombian connection. So he worked with a lot with I see with was it the Canon? And then Hitman, Sidekicks, Hellbound, which is another Chuck Norris movie. Top Dog. Do you guys remember that movie? Top Dog, where Chuck
oh
Norris
yeah.
and a dog working together as cops.
You
You
know,
know?
Never saw it.
I mentioned to you Unbound, and I'm saying like if you ever do this again, you should do that. I went to a screening of Unbound when I was in LA, and it was at this tiny little theater that was rented. Aaron Norris was there, and one other person was like I don't know with him. there were three of us in the theater.
Yeah,
It was empty.
I
And he's
bet.
like, "How did you like it?" And of course, I went, "I loved it." You know, 'cause they didn't want to hurt
Did
his
you?
feelings. Yeah,
Okay, well, did you like it though?
it's enjoyably bad. It's Chuck Norris versus the devil.
So you're talking about Hellbound. You think you
Hell,
called it Unbound.
oh, Hellbound. Yeah, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
probably thinking of Hellraiser. Yeah, Hellbound, which is the
Yeah.
last one on here. So it is owned by MGM and Warner Brothers.
Okay.
Well,
They
that kind
switched it
of,
up.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's switched up. It says Canon Films is no longer owned by Canon Group Inc. Instead, most of its library is now held by MGM, which acquired the American arm of Canon Films in 1993. Additionally, Warner Brothers holds the North American theatrical and home media rights to their co-productions with Canon. Oh, there's three companies. North America television rights to Canon Library are now owned by Paramount. So MGM, Warner Brothers, and Paramount Pictures.
Man, the scavengers really tore it apart, huh?
Well, I mean, they're good indie films, you know. They were not a studio at the time, you know. They
Now they're all
were
going to sit in a vault and rot because they're not going to want to put out any of their titles to anyone.
I think that might change at some point, especially with streaming stuff or whatever. I don't know who owns the streaming rights necessarily because that was not something that anybody, you know,
Yeah.
like but I'm sure one of the companies would fight over that and put out some of these movies because these are movies I remember like the Hitman and most of the I don't know, missing in action movies and things like that were always on TV, you
Sure.
know? And you could turn on like USA, the network, which now's terrible, you know, because they're rebranded themselves so many freaking times. But like when USA was good, they would have, you know, stuff. I would love to see a streaming service become like the next USA. Maybe Tubi is kind of the closest to that, you know, and
Yeah, it's the
everything.
lint basket. They'll show anything.
Yeah, they'll put out whatever, and that's great because then we get a lot of the canon movies that go on Tubi, you know, because of that. But you know, I enjoyed this stuff because this felt like a movie that would have been on television, you know, and stuff in the like early 90s, you know, and everything like that. So I love watching movies like this because it just reminds me of the good old days that, you know, where I could be I was a tyke. I was a how old was I in 91? I was 9 in 91. So when this movie came out, I was 9 and I was excited to I love these kind of things. I loved Rambo and all the Chuck Norris movies and stuff. I was more of a Jean-Claude Van Damme fan, as most know, you know. So I watched mostly that, but I did watch Chuck Norris and I did watch some
I
Steven
mean, they're
Seagal.
all pretty much the same. That's the
That's
thing.
true. Well, it's action, 80s and 90s action movies, you know, people going up against each other. I kind of like this because he kind of pit two mob bosses against each other. And then there was like
Mob bosses. Although three, really, when you count the Iranians.
but the Iranian, yeah, that's right, because the Iranians, you know, yeah, he pit them against, which was so weird, like that the Italian mob, the French mob, and the Iranian mob, I guess, you
From
know.
Canada.
Which was a little weird because it was like I guess supposed to be Seattle, Washington, and Canada. But I think the whole film was filmed
Really?
in Canada.
I was going to say, I didn't pick up Seattle at all.
They talked about Seattle in the movie. They said
There's a
Yeah.
little,
Seattle.
yeah, little subtitle that came up. So,
Yeah, and they
Okay.
also mentioned Seattle, something Seattle weather, something with Seattle. So I knew it was Seattle.
I
But it
thought the whole
like
thing was Vancouver.
I thought so too at first because it all is probably shot in Vancouver.
Because
But
that period, everybody was shooting in Vancouver from the X-Files on up because it was so cheap.
but you
mhm.
just show that stock shot, and then you just wrote, then you just do your little subtitle, and
And
you could shoot
honestly,
anywhere.
that's one of the positives about this movie. I thought Aaron Norris did a really, really good job in the cinematography and setting up the scenes. I love the style where it's like kind of a dark, rainy Seattle sort of neo-noir feel to the whole thing. Everything was taking place in this dark, rain-washed streets. and everything, because that's Vancouver, you know.
Hmm.
So I kind of dug that. It sort of made it like I said, like a neo noir kind of a feel to the film.
Paula, have you ever been to Vancouver?
Me? No, I wish.
Okay. How about you, John? Have you ever been there?
No, I've never been out of the States. No.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I've never been there either, and I remember there was a issue if you had like a DUI, you weren't allowed to be, allowed to go in. But my DUI was like so many years ago or whatever.
I've been to
You know,
Canada a few times, but never Vancouver.
Vancouver. What part of Canada have you been in?
Toronto, and then whatever the hell's across from Buffalo.
Okay, and then was that work or was that fun?
Oh no, that was just me hanging out and having fun,
Okay, good.
visiting friends.
Yeah, I've always wanted. I might visit Toronto someday, just because
Toronto's cool. Montreal, that's where the food scene is. That's a great place to
well, of
visit.
course, that's what you like,
Oh yeah,
but and I've never been to Vancouver or anything like that, so I'd love to visit someday.
beautiful place by all accounts. It's just it's way the hell and gone. It's all the way in the farthest part of Canada away from us,
Right, it's closer to John than it is to us and
closer to
everything.
Alaska.
Uh, well, anyway, I love that they filmed this there and really like utilized it and everything. It was funny because he like went to Canada, which okay. So explain to me something of like what was why were the two mob people fighting? Like what was their
Because the
issue with
plot
these?
demanded it. That's why.
Because
Drugs. It was drugs.
it
They
was
were
drugs.
they were battling over drugs. Yeah.
Okay. Because I
And then
couldn't
and then the
understand.
Iranians were coming in to infiltrate that to take over the two
Because we
guys.
all know about the Iranian mob.
Well, and this film is kind of racist too. I mean,
You
definitely
think?
some of the stuff said and it would not be said
Oh
today.
no.
So
No.
it was pretty bad. So I
Camel
agree
jockeys.
with a lot of what Paul said. I liked how the way it looked. I love the rainy, the rain and all that stuff. I thought Aaron Norris, for the most part, did a pretty good job directing it,
Mhm.
except there were some scenes that were kind of in the dark. But that could also be the transfer. I mean, this could just be a crappy DVD where if it came out on Blu-ray or something, it would look better.
I don't know. It looked good on my on Tubi, so
There were some
Yeah,
scenes that could have been lit better.
yeah, there's some stuff that's dark, and it's just like, all right. But and I do love that it starts off with the Andy Pryboy song "Upon My Wicked Son." He was the second lead singer of Wall of Voodoo, and that's from his solo album. And I love his solo stuff, so that got me jazzed up right there. It's like, oh shit, that's right, Andy Pryboy. But here's where we might disagree on some stuff a little bit. I thought this was kind of meh as far as Chuck Norris goes. It almost seems like it was an in-between project because I didn't get the point. Like Jonathan, you just mentioned it. Like, what were the mobs doing? What were they? It's I hate to say it, the film is 93 minutes and it probably should have been longer to explain things. But it's like normally you have, Chuck Norris is a good cop having a bad day. His wife is caught in a building with terrorists and he has to get her out. There's none of that in this. What is the overall goal of this movie? Is just to get the cops to shoot each other or the gay guys, mob guys to kill each other?
Yeah,
um
and then they further muddle it with this whole subplot with the kid, which they could have just gotten rid of that
I
whole
actually
plot
liked
then.
that stuff.
I'm glad they blew the kid
Irritating.
up. I was
I
unhappy that he survived, but
You'd like to see him blown up. That was funny.
that was great.
I no, but see, I did not mind I like the kid stuff. It humanized a hitman, or whatever.
Yeah,
But
it
he
was
wasn't even.
Which is
eye rolling, man. I was just
which
like,
is what he
what,
was supposed to
man?
do. He's this guy who will just shoot somebody in the stomach right next to everybody in a room. Oh, but look, he has sympathy for this kid who then he pulls a Mr. Miyagi and trains him all this stuff so that he could
Right,
beat up the
right.
the racist next door, which I did think was pretty funny.
And
And the
I enjoyed that, and I enjoyed him
I
going
like
and
the punch
punching
through the
the
screen. Yeah,
yeah, punching the screen and knocking the guy out.
that was
That
fun.
was that was fun. I just want to see that guy get knocked the fuck
and
out.
his hair was
Just
worse than
that
Chuck's.
that scene alone was great, they spent to me way too much time on that, and when they're spending time on that, there's a very serious lull because it's like in between the action stuff, and it's just like, come on, let's get back. I want to see the reason I'm watching a Chuck Norris film is for fights and explosions and mindless violence. That's what
But
the movie's
see,
supposed to be.
I guess that's where you guys and I differ probably because I actually enjoy those lull moments where it is like character building to me. Because I don't want to see just Chuck Norris just killing people. Like I want to see a little bit of humanity
That's
inside
what he
him.
built his career on, though.
I know, I understand that, but I also want to see some humanity from him, and I want to see him. I don't think he's going to win an Oscar. I'm not expecting that, but I'm expecting to see that this guy is more than just, because like in the beginning of the movie, he gets, attacked by his, I don't know if they're partners or they just work
Yeah.
together or whatever. And he got betrayed by him and almost killed, like he was clinically dead. So they said, we're going to pretend like you're dead so nobody knew that you were still alive, or whatever.
Bounced back pretty nice too, with no like facial reconstruction or damaged skull when you get a bullet in the
Yeah,
head.
he need to like take his shirt off so he could show his Chuck Norris abs, and then have the bullets, like the scars from the bullet,
Yeah, in
here
'91 he
to
probably
show
wasn't
it.
taking his shirt off anymore.
So,
Much.
So
well, no, and I agree with you, Jonathan, on that. I think that it is too. I just because he does have the love interest, and it is, which is I'm assuming the mob
Didn't buy
bob's
that either.
wife, but
no girlfriend, I think.
girlfriend or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
But that there's no suspicion of that. It's just like they're having this affair. I could be killed because I'm here, and then all of a sudden there's the knock on the door. Hey, who are you expecting? Somebody different? It's
Well,
like
because they killed her.
right, but they
Yeah.
kind of need to show the suspicion and all that. Like the scene that made me laugh the most, and I actually rewound it. It was when the kid is looking at the bottles, and he's standing there going, "Whoa! Look at all of these models. These planes are great." And then the camera cuts to what they look like, and it's just a shitty corner of just like junk shelves and the crappy models, and one just dangling from the ceiling. And I'm like, they're not even displayed nicely in this kid. It's like, is this kid kind of special needs? I mean, to think this thing is really, really awesome. Like wow. Because probably in the
You know,
script, it was nice.
the part that I laughed at out loud because there were many. Because this, as well as the movie was made, it's the stupidest fucking story. It's just ridiculous. And when Dell comes out and says, "Oh yeah, I've been working with the Iranians the whole time, and we've been working with the Italian mob guy," I'm like, really? You've been working with him the whole time? So Italian mob guy's been having his own people killed by the Iranian guys the whole time?
Yeah. Oh,
That's
I never
fucking
thought about
stupid.
that. I
It's
never,
so
I never thought.
stupid.
Yeah, that is dumb. Wow. So why would they? I honestly thought for a second that it was a new thing that he reached out to the Iranian mob to take care of the French mob, right, and everything to get rid of
He
them.
tried to be too
Uh,
clever, I think.
but I think it came at the end. So I don't think that Dell was working with the Italian mob first, or whatever, or anything like the whole time. I think they were working with each other toward the end because otherwise, you're right. That would be fucking stupid that the Iranian mob. I think he just saw that like the Iranians are more dead, but then at the end they were planning to kill the Iranians anyway. So like there was going to be like triple and quadruple crossing
Right, that's what I
happening.
mean. They tried to be too clever with stuff, and
Yeah.
just do a simple, straightforward story. Come on.
I know. And here's what really pisses me off. It's called the Hitman. He's not a hitman, Like he hires other
No,
people to do everything.
he's just a heavy. He's
Yeah.
just
Well,
the he's like the exterminator or something, or the
it makes a little
eradicator.
more sense because no mob in their right mind would hire somebody who hasn't been with them for fucking years and years and years and years. You don't get put into that kind of a situation because they're careful about that shit. They would have had relationships that went back decades. Okay, it's
Well,
just ridiculous.
okay, so in the beginning of the movie, like when we get like 3 years later or whatever, and I guess he's been working with these guys for like 2 years now or whatever. This one guy is talking about how, you know, he needs a job or whatever. And there's like, oh, we're giving that job to Grogan, which is Chuck Norris's character. And then he's like, you're gonna give that guy the job, blah blah blah. I can't believe you're gonna do that, and all this stuff. And you talked about like, what am I gonna do? Just get hookers right now and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And then
Wait,
and
wait,
yeah,
wait, 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 wait. He gave it to Chuck Norris? I thought he gave it to the woman.
no, no, he
Did
gave
I
the
completely misunderstand that scene? I thought
No,
that
the
the
woman
guy.
advised him into giving the job to Chuck Norris. We
yes,
don't really know why, but it turns out they've had
Oh.
some kind of relationship, but they don't really go into that.
See,
So
I
it's
thought
very
that's why the
half-baked.
guy, being Italian, was pissed off because he was giving it to the woman
no,
who
no, no.
smiles like, yeah, screw you, buddy. I'm a chick. I just got this job. And then Chuck Norris is like, well, how dare you, because
No, she's supposed to be the lawyer, sort of consigliere of the quote
oh,
unquote
And
family.
girlfriend of the mob boss.
And that's
Yeah.
the
I,
part, yeah, yeah. That's not
wow,
really,
I
yeah.
completely missed all of that
Yeah,
then.
no, I got that. I got that from it. So he comes out and he shoots the guy, right, and kills the guy. And then one of the guys is like, you should have taken the hookers. And I laughed because, like, yeah, because in my opinion, it was like this guy's just been working there for 2 years, but apparently he's like the best, or whatever. And like, I don't know what the job was. The job was the job was to go and stop these people and kill them and then take their money, I guess. And like and whatnot. I'm like, I
Trying to
don't.
get them to kill each other. Why don't you just fucking arrest them for just stealing drugs?
And they fucking kill the horse. Those bastards.
Oh, I was
Yeah,
angry
yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that. I think
So was Nino.
they should have just had the horse and cart, just go across the street, which distracts the guy before he gets killed, and it just goes from this side to that side, it just
Mhm.
out of view, into view, out of view again, and then that's when the car rolls around. I would if I was making this film that was in the script, I'd be like, no, no, we're not doing this. No, I don't
The other
care.
part that made me laugh out loud is when the guy who got shot, he's like, I have a bellyache. That was so fucking funny.
And I was like, why did that one guy want to only be killed by the mob boss, or whatever, not by Grogan? I'm like, who gives a fuck who shoots you, dude? You're in pain. If you want to die, let whoever kill you, Like,
It's like it breaks every possible rule that generally any mob sets up. Number one rule in a mob, you're not allowed to lay hands on anyone who is a made member, not without a really, really good fucking reason. And you got to have a sit down, and there's got to be, there's got to be a whole thing there. No, he just wanders around and shoots whoever the hell he wants with no consequences. It's so fucking ridiculous and stupid.
yeah. And
Well, oh,
then, oh,
And
good.
where are the
I
cops?
was,
This is like Vancouver with not a single
oh,
cop.
that street
All
had no
this
cops on it with the
violence
horse.
is everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on.
Well, did you? So we mentioned his partner, who's Michael Parks, the great Michael Parks,
Best part of the
My,
film. He
yeah,
was
he's
great.
great.
but he's such a weird guy. And because that's probably how he acts in real life. He just has that weird stare as he
But
talks to
he's
you.
he's awesome. He's the
But
best part of the movie.
yeah,
I miss
but
him.
but did you notice he was pretty so like Tarantino, the Inglorious Bastards or Inglorious Bastards. If you took the bastards out, the result would still be the same. Like it's I think it's one of his worst scripts that it's just all the Nazis and Hitler and all that still would have died inside the theater. This is the same thing. If they removed Michael Parks, the result would still be the same because he
No,
didn't need to be in the movie.
no, because wasn't he helping the Iranians though, right?
It
Like,
doesn't, but
He
none of
was
it could have.
using the Iranian.
So you could have had at the beginning, instead of Chuck Norris being portrayed, being betrayed, he could have just been shot by the gang. right? He falls
Right.
out the window. Then Michael Parks really isn't seen until later
Right.
when then Chuck Norris goes, "Wait a minute, you're here?"
Because they
And
only had like 2 days with him or something,
so
you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
so then that could have been a different guy or whatever it is. It's almost like they just
Well,
wanted him to be able to
They
blow
had
somebody up
two
at the
different
end.
stories mixed up that shouldn't have been. That should have either been the revenge thing where he's got against him against Dell, and maybe he has the Iranians helping him, or it should have been him dealing with the two mobs and trying to get them to
right.
kill each other off. They should not have taken the two other things and mixed them up. It was too confusing and too muddled.
Right. And like yeah, like you said, he's in the beginning of the movie and then you don't see him until the end. But he is mentioned halfway through or so is like, I think Chuck Norris is talking to his boss or whatever, the cop guy that like, that's in it throughout the movie or whatever. And he's
Worthless fucking piece of shit. Good.
yeah, and he says to the guy basically, I've been trying, have we been able to track this guy down? And no, no, we don't know where he is. And you find out later the cop actually has known where this guy was the whole time, And I'm like,
We yeah, we didn't tell you because you thought, that it would distract you from your job.
right.
Didn't that guy look like Richard Nixon? If he hasn't played Richard Nixon, I would be really surprised.
Worst fucking boss ever. It's like, oh, you're just gonna give us more dead bodies. Fucking fire him. You have the power. Take him off the case. Throw him in jail. Don't just sit there and cry like a little bitch. You're worthless.
It's funny, yeah. He's like, you're gonna, you're just gonna go and kill more people, and he's like, yep,
Every
I'm
time.
gonna,
That's what
I'm
I'll
gonna
do.
do that. Like, what is my favorite line in the whole movie is like, at the end he says, "We wanted him alive," and he looks at him, he's like, "Ain't life a bitch?" And I'm like,
Uh,
yeah, so like, fucking Chuck Norris is making a little bitch out of this guy, the whole time. It's kind of funny to me, that this guy pretty much just lets him, fuck him with the strap
and
on.
just
I
one
don't know.
last thing I wanted to throw in there with regards to Vancouver and the time period. You notice that was William B. Davis as the doctor. He's, of course, the famous cigarette smoking man in the
Oh yeah, yeah.
X-Files.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
that was
good.
cool. It was good to see him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I think that it's an entertaining film. It's fine. It's Chuck Norris. But it ain't no Delta Force. It ain't no Invasion
No,
USA, which I still think is his greatest movie.
that was a
Uh,
box of rocks.
and it's because I remember I don't think I really knew who Bruce Lee was back in the day, so I don't think I ever remembered that they fought. But when I was a kid and I saw the trailer for Good Guys Wear Black, and he hops up with his foot and he smashes it into the car windshield, I'm like, Mom, we gotta go see this. And she took it to me twice. And from that moment on, I loved Chuck Norris. I went to go see The Octagon and A Force of One and everything like that.
Good guys wear
So
mullets.
yes, and well, in that one he had his blonde, almost like bowl cut hair type of thing, and it was God, you gotta love these guys. Didn't Van Damme even have a mullet for a little bit in
He
some of his
did.
Yes,
movies?
he did.
He
I
Yeah,
did.
forgot which one it was, but he did have a mullet for a little bit. Did Steven Seagal have a mullet?
I'm pretty sure at some
I
point.
think all these guys at one point had a mullet. They thought that it looked cool.
I
To me,
think
it looks
even
redneck, but
I
that's
think
always
even
what I thought.
Sylvester Stallone had a mullet at one point.
Jesus Christ, Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't. I'm pretty sure of
No,
that.
no. Arnie's got
No.
class.
Well, normally, if you have the mullet at the beginning of the movie is when you're shot and everybody thinks you're dead, and then you come back later and your hair is all nice and short because then they don't have to put the extensions on anymore. It's just chucked it in reverse.
Mm,
So
Right, right.
he's like, I'm gonna flip the scene,
And that's why it confused everyone,
Yeah,
except
yeah.
Dell. Dell
I,
wasn't stupid.
I
I
just wish
don't.
he did this all the time and just kind of flipping it and playing.
I did love the scene in the bar with the Iranian guys, and he just comes in there and just starts fucking with them. But like, my first thought to myself was like, why didn't they just shoot this guy? You
Well,
know?
why doesn't he just shoot everybody? So he's with both mob bosses, shoot both of them. He's with the Iranian guys, shoot him, at least
Yeah.
shoot the leader. I mean, he's literally right there.
He
I mean,
does
with
kill one guy because shoots the guy and then says drop dead.
And then the thing is like that they're quote unquote Iranian only because the Iranians are the quote unquote easy bad guys because the bar doesn't look anything Iranian. It looks Moroccan if anything. It's so ridiculous.
yeah, and I love how the belly dancer could see him through because if you look at the wide shot, he's actually blocked by like fake plants. But I like how she sees him and immediately she's, oh, hello there. Hi.
I love your mullet, Mr. American
Oh, yeah.
Canadian man.
It's like, oh, it's like he's one of those guys that just walks into the room and all the women like swoon over him. So
I mean, he's Chuck Norris.
he
There's
is.
there's things like there's little like jokes that like Chuck Norris, could do this and do that, right? Like there's always Chuck Norris is the best person on the face of the planet, kind of thing. And I wonder what he thinks of that because he seems like a humble person. So I wonder like if he's just like I don't know why people think of me like that because like I just don't. I think he thinks he's just an actor, who enjoys doing what he does and is pretty good at it, you know. I mean that's how it was when I grew up, like watching his movies. I just saw him as a person who was fun. His movies are just fun to watch.
And did you notice the shotgun that fucking just goes off and never needs to get reloaded and does all kinds of damage
Oh
that a
yeah.
little
But that's
shotgun never should have?
yeah, they can like shoot somebody. Like my dad, one of my dad's least favorite things in action flicks, and they do it all the time, is when somebody shoots somebody and they fly, you
Hmm.
know,
I
because
love that.
I
Doesn't
know, but my
happen.
dad, it doesn't happen. So it just takes my dad out of the movie. It's like this just isn't
It's just
realistic.
you know what they didn't do, and I was looking for it. They didn't leave the door open. So this is one movie where they didn't leave the fucking door open.
I
Very
saw
rare.
I saw another Hollywood TV show or something, and the person left the door open. I'm like, ah. Paul's got
It's
me
so
like
annoying.
noticing that shit now, and
It happens almost all the time. And it's
I
like
know.
nobody does that.
Yeah, like I'm always happy when some. That's why I make sure in all my movies that we always close the door. I even write that into the script, close the door behind them because
Yeah.
Oh,
I
you
don't.
mean literally close the door?
Yes.
I thought you meant like close the door or open the door to a sequel.
Oh, what? No, no, man,
Yeah, yeah,
no.
like they
No.
left the door open for a sequel, and I was thinking, well, he doesn't die. Oh,
No,
okay, I see what you're saying.
90% of movies, people open the door to go in and then they just leave the fucking door wide open for every insect and animal to run in and out. Nobody does
Well,
that.
and they do it because so sometimes it's because the camera's behind them, right?
Yeah.
So they can't close the door. But then you take another shot, from another angle, and the camera guy will be away
That's where you
and shut
cut.
the door. Cut to them shutting the door. It does not make any sense to leave the door open.
It takes you out of the film because you know as soon as that happens that it's now that this is a contrivance. It's
And God,
artificial.
I didn't notice that because now I
Not in
will.
this
Thank
film.
you. No, not in this film. Okay, well, good. I didn't notice that anyway. But yeah, he
Yeah.
shuts the door. He locks the door. He
Aaron
has,
Norris was on top of it.
but it's also very predictable at times because like there's a scene where he's having that dream that the guy's at the door or whatever, and then when he's walking there, I'm like, it's the son's mom. Like we know this. He's kept the son at his house, which would never happen today. By the way,
No.
that is creep. That
Especially
is
when she walks in on him, and I was like, "Oh shit! What does she think? He's here with this 14-year-old kid. That doesn't
yeah.
look good,
Oh
man."
yeah, the girlfriend when the
Yeah.
girlfriend saw him, like that. That's got like nowadays that would be like stranger danger. Is there something going on here that I should report to the police? Because
They're
that's
both
just
kind of sweaty and panting. I'm like, "Oh shit,
I
man!"
know because they were working out, but
The,
like
the,
they
the
were
door,
working out.
the table's been moved aside, so it's a nice open area for
Um,
sleeping.
it was kind of creepy, like to think about because like nowadays you just think like
Yeah,
people don't trust their neighbors
it's a little
anymore.
more innocent back then, I guess.
Yeah. And especially in Canada, maybe
In
too.
Canada, yeah.
Yeah, Canada, maybe even today. There. I remember seeing this like Michael Moore documentary where Michael Moore was going like up to people's houses, like knocking on the door and stuff, and people are just, or even walking in, and people are just very welcoming of that, in Canada or whatever.
Not
And I'm
here.
like, not here. You get some kid got shot for just
Oh,
playing ding
ding
dong
dong
that
ditching.
ditch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Mm.
like, Jesus Christ, we are just nasty now. We don't like, that guy like chased the kid down and shot him. I'm like, that's like out of a movie. That doesn't sound like real life. Jesus,
But
and
the good thing is that it's nice to know that Canada is just as racist as we are. So,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, that's crazy to think about that guy. And he said the N word and he said and the
they,
C word. I
And
mean, they
that fat
were
fuck had a mullet too.
his
I
mullet was
did.
worse
He was
than
the evil
Chuck's.
mullet.
He was, yeah, his was just like patchy. He
And
had
the
that really
kid had a
weird
mullet.
hair. I mean,
Yeah,
well, yeah,
that
because you had to give him that redneck look
I
that time,
know.
but I did, I did like the dad beating the crap out of the kid because the little black kid beat the crap out of him, and then the dad's just kicking the shit out of his kid as he's bringing him into the apartment because it's just like
He
I'm
hit him in the
eventually.
not.
solar plex. I wouldn't call it beating the crap out of him.
I know, but I'm not gonna lie. That
Oh no, but
fights.
the dad was beating the kid up. Remember, he was kicking
Oh
him on
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
stairs, and he was hitting him in the head, and so it's nice to see that Chuck did
I
punch him
would
in the
like to have
face
seen
and stuff.
Chuck.
But
That's the guy who Chuck Norris should have shot with the shotgun. That would have been fun.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but then I was like, cops would be called, and then you have to answer
apparently,
to his
there are no
boss.
cops
There are no
in
cops in this movie. Apparently.
But anyway, the fight scene between the two kids was awful, by the way. Like that was
Oh yeah.
that was the most weirdest fight scene I've ever seen. I don't know if it was just choreographed bad or if the kids just didn't want to hit each other, sort of thing, because they were kind of throwing
Yeah,
punches, but
it's
they were
all
like,
very
uh,
afterthoughty. It
uh.
feels like that whole thing was all just kind of tossed in later, and I don't know. It just
Maybe it was because maybe there was the talk like that they thought that they needed to add some padding to make his character more likable, because otherwise he's not a very likable guy,
and can I also point out the fact that our Lancome guy, he goes off into the middle of nowhere, and yet the Iranians happen to show up exactly where he's off wandering. His own people didn't even know where he was going to go, but they knew exactly where he was going to go. And then he shot his other two guards and left them there for him to find him because like they knew he was going to go there. Come on, it was just
I
ridiculous.
I don't know. I kind of view that as that's typical
And then he's like,
action stuff.
oh, 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 and he like
I
runs
know
and screams at
that
other people.
that stuff was weird. Like, why was he screaming that much like that? Like, I know he saw dead bodies, but
Hardened criminal.
you're, I'm like, you're a fucking mob boss. You
well,
should.
because I think that it's showing that that he's not a tough guy. He thinks he's a tough guy, and he gives the appearance of a tough guy because
He's an
he's the
old
mob
fat man.
boss.
Well, how tough can he be?
I
I
mean, well,
know.
remember Brando was fat in The Godfather, so but yet
Brando was pretty tough. Yeah. This the scene where Chuck comes to him and talks to him or whatever without a gun. When he got his gun back, he should have just shot both of them. You
Yes,
know,
that would have ended the
like.
movie.
Yeah, that would have been the end of the movie, pretty much. Yeah, because there would
But
be.
the thing
Well,
is,
they still have to
John
deal with the
Ward.
Iranians.
The thing is, John Ward, is that yes, Marlon Brando was a fat old man in The Godfather, but he knows how to convey power. He's an excellent actor. The dude who was this guy, yeah, no, I'm sorry. He just was a fat, flatulent old man.
Huh?
That's all he was.
Oh
Flat.
my.
Was he flatulent? I don't think he farted. I think
Well,
he
it
just.
seemed like it.
You seem like he farted at some point.
What happens when
Um,
you eat a bunch of snails?
Uh, he was it was weird, like the relationship between the two mob people. And then you're right, because and then another predictable scene was when that guy was like left to run away, like because the other guy got shot. The what is it? The two guys that were, I guess, supposed to be picking up the money or whatever, and they leave, and the Iranians show up and take the money and shoot the one guy, and they're like, "You can go."
You
you're
knew
free
that
to
car was
live.
going to blow
I
up.
knew that car was gonna blow up.
Yep, yep, yep,
I was like, he's gonna
Oh
get in, and
yeah.
it's gonna blow up. And I don't know if in 1991 I necessarily would have thought about that, or whatever as a kid. But like nowadays, seeing so many of these movies, I'm like, yeah, that's just that. All of that is like stereotypical, especially when they just peeled out as quickly as they could. But I did like the scene where the girl got killed because them trapping her into but I'm like, how did they do that? Like
How
that
did
didn't
they
make any
know? They
sense.
didn't know.
No, no, but how did they okay, so the car's in front, right? And stuff, and then it stops, right? And she like is keeps beeping at the guy or whatever. The people come over, shoot her, and then the other guy gets back into the car. So it
That's
means
because they're
nobody was in the
fishing.
car.
Yeah.
So how did he get out of the car, run over there? Like, doesn't it make any
Well,
sense?
And
there was
then everybody
her.
just kind of drives and walks by like nothing happened.
No cops show
Well, it's
up.
Canada, so it's just
Typical
They're all
oh,
the
day.
Tim
just
Hortons.
another day in Canada, Fargo. Oh, you know. So,
I don't
well,
know.
it didn't make sense. I agree with you to a degree with that because obviously the guy in front was part of it, the guy in the back was part of it, then the guy on the side seemed to be part of it. So they trapped her in, and then the guy got out of the back car and went shot her. Then for some reason got into the first car. So maybe there was somebody driving the other car
Or
in
just
the
left the
back.
car behind and he just didn't show it.
Well, I mean, because she parks behind a car, right? She parks behind the car that's waiting on a red light, right? Like waiting on a light. Then the light turns green, I guess, or whatever. Guy's already walking up because when somebody gets out of the car, he's gonna go and shoot the girl. That's just gonna happen. So I was like, all right, I'm ready for it. Then he shoots her. Then he walks back to the other car, gets in the other car, and all cars drive away. It's like, what? Like, why did he have to go? Why didn't he go back in the other car and then they all, like that? I would have
Maybe,
made sense.
I mean, maybe camera wise, it just looked better for him to get into the front car and leave. That him walking
That's
backwards looked weird, and so him getting into the other car just looked
maybe,
better.
maybe, but like that's the same thing as I hate watching old movies where the people get in from the passenger side and then they hop into the front seat. I'm like, who the fuck does that? That
Well,
makes no sense.
in Canada, the steering wheel is in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm saying in other like old time movies they did that, and it
Well,
made no sense. But
they missed a like Chuck wasn't even upset that she got killed. So like what was it? Because I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Thomas Jane Punisher,
Oh
but
yeah.
he sets everything up. So he makes Travolta think that his friend is having an affair with the wife, but then we find out later on that the friend is actually gay, and the Punisher is manipulating this entire thing to get Travolta to kill like all of his men and everything like that. And it kind of seems that that's what Chuck is doing,
Yeah.
but he's
It's
just not doing
very
a very
diluted.
good job of it. So it's like, did you not care that this woman that you're like, are you just trying to get information from her? Do you actually care about her? Because
I don't think he
didn't,
cared about her.
yeah, you didn't go to
Oh,
the,
that's nice. That really makes him heroic.
I know.
yeah, because if the boss is coming into Chuck's apartment, the mob boss, and going, who were you expecting somebody different? I would pretty much assume that he killed her. It's just
Right.
like, oh crap, I bet now she's dead. And Chuck kept going, maybe I think
And
I'm
if
expecting
so, that
her.
doesn't that give you an idea that maybe you're in trouble and that maybe this guy knows a lot more than you think he does?
He probably knew that, and that's why he went with him. Remember that we went into the car with him and everything, which made okay. So this was another thing that drove me crazy is they take him away. Where do they go? I don't know. It doesn't explain any of that. They kind of just it feels like they did like a circle back or whatever. When he gets to, and then we see that kid go into that house and like look for him. So I'm like, oh shit, that kid's gonna get involved. That's just great. like what man who knows like people are going to come to his house says, "Hey kid, here's a key to my house so you can come in anytime I'm not there
A
to
key
play,"
exchange.
right? Anyway, so he goes in there and then he comes back and he turns out that it's the other guy. It's not the mob boss. I thought it was going to be the mob boss somehow or whatever, or another mob boss. No, it is the fucking Dell guy that we haven't seen in forever, saying that that he's using the Iranian to shoot the kid, or whatever and stuff. If he doesn't go with him
Yeah, I
out
expected
of
him to
the
say, "What the fuck have you been? You haven't been in the movie for the last half hour."
that would be
And
great if he
then,
said we
and
haven't been in the
then
movie.
Dallas like, "Yeah, I should have just killed you back then, but I'm going to give you 12 days." What? Why don't you just kill him?
Yeah, like why
Ridiculous.
why didn't he just shoot him or have the other guy shoot him when he showed up at the house? Like what does he need this guy for? He doesn't need him for anything. Like
Oh, he
he's
has a bomb
manipulating all
there. Why not
the
just blow them all up?
this is where like
Well, and he
movie
could have if he for so they got Chuck out of the apartment so he wouldn't blow up. That was the whole thing why he followed him down. But if Dell just gave his little speech, kept the kid tied up or with the tape, left and put Chuck Norris in left just had Chuck Norris in the apartment, they all would have blown up.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing about these movies that it makes it so stupid is that if you want to kill somebody, you just kill them. You don't go through this whole stupid, elaborate thing where you give them every possible opportunity to escape the fate. No, you do the opposite. You make sure
mm,
they never fucking leave, and you kill them in the easiest and most, easiest way possible. That's what you do. That's what normal people do. In the movie world, they do all this other stupid shit that nobody would do.
huh. Well, yeah, and like they have to keep Chuck Norris alive, but in reality, they'd fucking kill him.
Yes,
Like there'd be no reason to keep a guy like that
and that's
alive
why
except for the
I don't
plot.
find his characters to be particularly heroic because he doesn't win because he's smarter or better than everyone is. He wins because everybody else is a moron. So, you know what I mean? You haven't done anything. You haven't done anything better than anyone else. It's like Ferris. I hate fucking Ferris Bueller's Day Off because he's the quote unquote hero. He's not a hero. He doesn't do anything heroic. Everybody else is stupid. That's the only reason he looks good. If it wasn't that, if everybody was just regular, he would just be a normal schmuck. Same thing with Chuck Norris's character. The only reason he's considered heroic is because everybody else is an idiot and does stupid shit.
Well, and with stuff like this, we're supposed to feel are we supposed to feel anything when the mob people do die? So he's been in for
No.
2 years. He's developing some sort of friendship. So when the one guy gets killed, he's like, I don't know, on some table or something, all full of blood, because he was torturing the Iranian guy. Which I, so you're making him eat? Was it meat? Because
Yeah.
yeah,
Pork.
because he's Iranian, and I'm just like, why, once again, I find that funny, but at the same time, why not just cut off a finger or
Unnecessary, yeah.
Well,
yeah? I
it
mean,
was kind of fucked up to do to somebody who really believed
well,
that, like especially if you were going to plan to kill them, like that guy is not supposed to eat meat, and if he eats meat, he doesn't, the stuff with Allah, and
He
everything
can
like
eat
that.
meat, he just can't eat pork.
But I'm sorry, but weren't those the whitest Iranians I've ever seen in my life? Like I didn't think that they looked
they look like
Iranian.
Borat.
I didn't
Yeah.
think they looked that. Yeah.
One
Uh,
guy did, yeah.
Well, the
uh,
main guy, or the head Iranian guy,
I
looks
think
just
they
yeah.
like
just
Borat.
looked for anyone who looked even vaguely Middle Eastern and said, "Here, you're an Iranian now."
Yeah. I
Well,
don't
yeah,
know.
it's like you get anyone who's Asian then can play Chinese,
Right,
Japanese. You
right.
get how many Jewish actors have played Italians and how many Italians
A
have
mark
played
of
Jews.
Golan
So,
Globus Productions.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway, but we were saying you're saying something, John. I'm sorry. Did I cut you off?
oh no, I guess it was just like you have Goodfellas. Is that we're supposed to feel something for these people, but yet these are murderers, just straight out murderers, and we're supposed to feel sorry for them. So I'm kind of watching this, going, does Chuck Norris feel anything for these guys, or is this just because the
Well,
one guy who everybody seems to like he's dead, and just chuckle like, oh, that sucks. That sucks. Or it's
Yeah,
just
I
like,
mean, they kind of make an attempt for the two guys who had the beard, I forget, Nino and whatever. They try to sort of humanize them a little bit by saying, we were with him way back in the day. We came with him with Brooklyn. This is me and my buddy, blah, blah, blah. And they attempt to do that. And actually, that I didn't think that that was necessarily a bad thing because, at this point, it's like, well, is Chuck going to just kill these guys anyway? Because he seems to be killing them all anyway. Or is he going to like maybe give them a chance and maybe just arrest them? And then it turns out it doesn't matter because they get killed by other people anyway. So
Yeah.
I was wondering, at some point if he was going to have to make a decision like that. And I was very interested to see what was going to happen. But of course, he didn't have to worry about that. But otherwise, why bother humanizing these guys and making them seem like, like they're not just one-dimensional monsters, you know?
Yeah, I mean, maybe
yeah.
that's it. Just not, they don't want to make it look like one dimensional, like have actually have some kind of thing to them. But I don't know.
Like the guy who got killed in the street obviously liked the horse and was very upset that the horse died. And that's, that was a nice little touch. I think it was overdone, with the whole bellyache thing, but that didn't necessarily have to be there unless you're trying to sort of sketch out these characters a little bit more.
Well, you need better writers, better directors, and stuff like that because it's, when you look at something like Donnie Brasco, it is, you're seeing it from, Johnny Depp's point
That's
of
a
view.
fugazi. You know what a
So,
fugazi is? I know what a
friend of
fugazi is.
me, friend of ours. But like everybody loves The Wolf of Wall Street. I hate The Wolf of Wall Street.
I've never seen
I
it.
because it's kind of a dark comedy. That guy that Leo portrays destroyed thousands of lives. People committed suicide because of this guy. I mean, this guy was horrible, but yet we're supposed to love him in the movie because he's kind of this lovable, Leonardo DiCaprio guy. And it's just like, I don't know. My grandfather would not watch anything with mob people in it because he was an LA cop. And he's like, nope, not going to watch The Godfather. I won't watch any of these movies because I dealt with
Yeah,
all this crap in
I
LA.
didn't
They're
want to
not good
watch that
people.
film. I didn't watch it.
Which one?
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched it years ago, but I liked Margot Robbie in it, so
It's a good film, but how people look at it, I think, is wrong. But I guess I'm a hypocrite because I love Goodfellas, and these are bad people. But in Goodfellas, at least, and maybe even in the Hitman, they only killed each other. Like they
Well,
weren't killing children on the street.
the other thing about Goodfellas is that it's not really glorifying mob, people. It's kind of
Sure.
showing, the realities of shit because, they get killed, they get fucked up because of their own shit.
they go
So,
to jail,
yeah.
all
Yeah.
which never happens in this fucking movie, except even at the end, the dude gets blown up at the end. He doesn't even survive to be arrested,
Which
or
was like
whatever.
murder. Hello.
I
Hello.
know. And like, and remember I said that line of like, "A life a bitch." Like, oh yeah, I would have been like, if I were like, the boss, I would have been like, yeah, life's a bitch. Put your hands behind your back. You're going to jail for murdering a guy who would have been very, were very good for us.
Yeah,
Like
and the boss is like, oh, I wanted him alive.
Well, did he see him
Worst
plant the
character
bomb?
ever.
Did he see him put him on the chair? Did he see him? No, it's circumstantial. He has no idea if he did or not. That's how I found him.
that's how I
I,
found him.
That's how I
I,
found him. He
I
did it
thought,
himself, clearly.
yeah, I thought
It's
Dell
just-
was actually. I had to go back and rewatch it. I thought Dell was screwing with the wires. Like his hands kind of, even though he was tied up, his hands were trying to pull out like a red wire or a blue wire. And then I realized, oh no, he must be on like a timer or something.
Yeah.
And then he just happened to blow up at the perfect time. I did
Yeah.
like the swinging piece of meat that's it's just hanging there. And so that I thought was funny. But yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? Are you going to try to arrest Chuck Norris? The guy would just turn around and shoot you with a shotgun. It's
Yeah.
just like, he apparently doesn't care.
James, which is funny because, like, I mean, I guess
'Cause that's how we want our cops to not care and just kill everybody.
because I mean, I guess he's undercover, but he's not really. Is he undercover? Because he's like shooting and he's killing all these people and he's doing all these things for them. and I guess that's what happens a lot in undercover, stuff is people have to go along with the horrible stuff that the people do so that they
Yeah,
don't
now
get caught.
the rules still apply whether you're undercover or you're not.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I think we're almost at that time right now. So what do you guys think? Was there
Sure.
anything else you wanted to touch on? Was there anything that you guys needed to make sure we mentioned? Um,
No, I mean, I would say if you like Chuck Norris and you haven't seen it, check it out. But his earlier stuff is a lot better than this.
Yeah, yeah.
This is. I agree with Paul. This is kind of his. He's kind of going down a little bit with stuff. So
I'm I'm
his
not gonna
earlier.
lie. Oh, sorry. What?
I was to say, but his earlier stuff is good.
So I'm not gonna lie. I had a when I after I watched this movie, I had a different number until we've talked, and now my score has changed. So we're gonna talk real quick about the stinkometer. So we've got a stinkometer scale, a 1 to 10 rating, 1 being very very good, and 10 or 10 being very very stinky. And if a movie is very, very stinky, it's usually because it's got a lot of problems. What is that?
That's my swish cow.
Okay, squish out. Okay. So, say, and you can do a point 0.5 if you're not sure if you want to do 4.5 or 5 point, or, 4 or 5 or 5 or 6. And then we store them all up and turn them into like the ladder of stink, and we see how stinky this season is gonna, be. And this is the start. So I think, we'll see how it is. But I'm gonna go first because my first original score was like 3. I thought 3. I thought, oh my God, this was great. You guys have made it turn into a 6 because we started pointing out things that I didn't even think about or wasn't realizing at the
We shit all over
time.
the movie for him.
And well, I mean, you guys proved like something to me, which it's not a meh movie. It's a little, it's a little stinkier than meh, but it's not stinky, stinky. Like this isn't, really bad, or anything. And I mean, you could see it, you could hear it. Well, you could see it sometimes, most of the time. You could hear it. The actors were pretty damn good, like for the most part, no problems. I don't think there was any actor I thought was delivered their lines bad or anything. And the just the story wise was okay. It wasn't. It should have been better, you know. And I think that was the my biggest problem with the movie was after a while there was a lot of like confusion, And the more I talked about it, the more I realized I was very confused as things. And I think it just might be so many different ideas of what they wanted this movie to be, and it just became what it was. And I don't know if Chuck Norris himself is happy with this movie or Aaron Norris is happy exactly, but I did not like this as much as I liked Sidekicks. I enjoyed that one a lot more, but that also had nostalgia for me. So, Paul, do you want to go with yours?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree for the most part. I think it's probably a little bit more stinkier on my end because the story was so ridiculous and stupid. I'm gonna go with a 7. There are still production parts that I really liked. For example, like I mentioned, the cinematography. I think Aaron Norris himself did a pretty good job. I liked some of the tracking shots that he did and some of the shot selection that he did. So compared to some of the other movies that I know he's done, it seems like he has been developing as a director, and I like that.
Mm.
The pacing was a bit problematic. I like the pacing in the beginning, and I like the pacing in the end. The part in the middle, especially when he got with the whole thing with the kid, that really I had problems with. And yeah, I mean, I'm even going to touch about the ridiculousness of the story and how bad that was. Some of the performances I thought were pretty solid, pretty good. Chuck, to me, this was just kind of typical. It doesn't really stand out at all. I think his 80s stuff was a lot better with that regard. So yeah, I would say that this is a 7 overall for me. Stinky, but not nearly as bad as could have been, and certainly compared to others. And for Golden Globus, this was probably one of their lesser films. They have better ones. They have worse ones. But yeah, so a 7 for me.
All right. What about you, John?
I am. I think I'm in between you two. I'm going to go like a 5.5, but it's more towards a 6 than a 5. Uh, um, I mentioned, I've seen Chuck Norris since Good Guys Were Black. I've worked at a movie theater where we played all of his movies. The whole thing with, meeting Aaron Norris at that one movie that bombed. So there is a little bit of a history. So I don't want to totally bash on it, but I think this was an in-between type of movie. I think that just Golden Globus just wanted a movie to be out. They're just like, well, here, go, we got this thing set up in Canada. Go make this movie with Chuck, and bring your brother with you, and then we can release it, and we'll make its money back because it's Chuck Norris. So I don't think that it was anything special to them. I think that it was just let's just it's just another film that we could put out in the theaters. So because it really wasn't. He's not playing anything that he hasn't before. This isn't anything. Like you said, Sidekicks is interesting because it is kind of like a greatest hits of Chuck Norris. I think, what isn't he imaginary? Like the kid
No,
is.
he's a dream thing, like a daydreams guy for him. But then later you do see the real Chuck Norris, at a tournament, you know. And that's the greatest thing is he got to fight Joe Piscopo, which is just so ridiculous. So, how many other chances do you get to see that?
Yeah,
Um,
and Piscopo got buffed. I mean,
oh, he was,
Oh,
yeah.
he was a steroid dude for sure for a good while.
All right, so I'm trying to look it up. We got an 18.5 for this, so I think that's awesome. 18.5 is not bad on the stinkometer scale. Um, so on the ladder of stink, though, 18.5 is. Do we even have an 18.5? Oh, crap. What do you think, Paul? Do you think we have one?
I have no idea at
Yeah, I
this
have
point.
no idea either, because we've done so many, but like, um, I've got to look this up real quick. We have a couple. We have Chud 2, Bud the Chud got 18.5.
That's about right.
And Reptoids Walk Among Us, which we all did. We did that one together. Do you remember that, John?
yes.
Yes. So these were that those two, and I'm gonna see if season seven or
We could
season.
have used some Conrad Brooks in this film.
Ah,
Let's
That would have been
see.
fun.
That would have been fun.
He could have played the 14-year-old black kid who's getting bullied.
I got to be honest. I didn't even think he was black. I thought he was like Hispanic, and I thought the mom was Hispanic until the dad used the N word. I was like, oh, I thought he was
No,
Hispanic.
I saw him as a black kid. I don't
No,
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, he was
See, I
definitely.
don't see color, Jonathan.
Apparently you do, you know. You just see a different color, you know. But
I'm color
anyway,
I'm colorblind, but not colorblind at the
I
same
know,
time.
like if you were, you would have been like, I don't see anything, I just see white, you know. But yeah, okay, so we don't have any 18.5s for season seven. Jeez. 18.5 is not that common. Oh, Furry Nights got 18.5.
Furry Nights. Have you seen that one, John Ward?
Starry Nights?
No,
Furry
Furry
Nights.
Nights.
Oh, Furry Nights? I'm going to say no.
It's
It's
a
about,
furry serial killer movie.
yeah, furry slasher film.
Yep.
Oh, okay. No, no, I have
No,
not.
It's
don't
on
fuck.
Tubi. Check it out.
The tagline should have been "Don't fuck with the furries." It was
Furry
silly.
Road.
Yeah, Mad Max Furry Road. That's a whole different movie right there.
Furiosa.
Who knows? The movies might have done better if they were furries.
Yeah. Well, I guess that about wraps it up. I mean, this was a fun one. Thank you, John, for
Of
coming
course.
back for our. So that definitely means that you're here for this next season. There's been a lot of like you've been I think you've been a part of Indie Film Cafe since season three. You know. Um,
Um, how old is Chuck Norris at this point? Do you think we could talk him into doing one more movie where we have him trying to get two different gangs of furries to fight each other and put him in the same kind of a role? That would be awesome.
The
He
Hitman
is
furry. The
he's
furry
80
Hitman.
he's 85.
The furry Hitman. I
That's
like
right.
it. You
That would be
know.
awesome.
And then
But
we
he
can
does
bring.
more religious stuff now. He's much more a religious type filmmaker guy.
Oh man, that
Him
remind
him and his
what
wife.
David Heavner is the same way, or Hefner,
Mhm.
Hefner. He got into like, went from doing like really bad, trauma style, movies or whatever to now he's doing uh apostle stuff,
All
or
turning into
whatever.
Kevin Sorbo.
I don't, yeah, it's weird. I didn't think Chuck Norris was that religious or anything, but
Oh, he's yeah. Have you seen his infomercials? They're very religious. Yeah.
no, I guess I never paid attention to that. But all right, well, I mean, more power to him. Hey, if whatever makes him happy, man. I'm a Christian myself. I just don't talk about it much on stuff, or
Well,
whatever.
Kirk Cameron does.
Yeah, Kirk Cameron,
Oh, and he did Left Behind.
yeah, he got left behind.
And Kevin Sorbo did Left Behind.
Yeah.
Left Behind with the Furries.
Now we need Chuck Norris to do Left Behind.
I would watch that, but he has to play Chuck Norris.
He has to play Chuck Norris.
He's been playing it himself for quite a while. I don't know. Give the man a chance to be a character. I think he could still do it.
He is a character.
He pretty much, but he is the character. Whatever he's playing, he's that
Remember,
guy.
he was the big deal in Expendables, is that
Clint
they got Chuck
Eastwood is
Norris.
95 and he's still directing. So, I mean, and what's his name? The dude who was in Unforgiven with him. Morgan Freeman's
Gee.
88. He's still acting. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, well, Clint Eastwood, he's got one last film apparently. He said that the last time though,
Yeah, I
so I'm
know.
like,
He
I,
says he's
I,
not ready to retire.
yeah, well, I don't blame him. I wouldn't be ready to retire until I lost all my faculties. Then I'd be like, I'm done,
I
you
think
know.
Woody Allen is still directing too, and I
No, he's
think
not. He's not. He's done.
he's not.
He retired.
Oh, okay.
He may come back, but I doubt it. I think he's done.
He's pretty old too.
Yeah, I think he's ready to just.
But
Francis
his
Ford
wife is still
Coppola.
young.
Yeah.
But Mel, oh
Francis
God,
Ford Coppola is, I think, still directing. He's another one who's old.
Mel Brooks is
Mel
still is
Brooks.
like is coming out with another one.
Yeah.
Another
Well, but he's
Spaceballs.
not directing anymore. He's now
That's right.
producing, like producing writing. They got another guy to do Spaceballs too.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
I think it gets to the point where you just have to, you just got to stop. It's like,
Especially when you're doing something like Spaceballs, where it's got to be like all the what's hip and cool now, like all this, whatever now, making fun of the Star Wars stuff now would be easy, That's
and
just
and I got to say, I think Spaceballs is by far one of his worst movies. So
oh, you
Yeah, I never
bastard.
liked it.
I love Spaceballs.
it's look at. I'll make this quick because this has nothing to do with what we were talking about. Look at early Mel Brooks movies. High Anxiety could be a Hitchcock movie. Blazing Saddles could be a normal Western. Young Frankenstein fits right in there with the Universal monster movies. Spaceballs doesn't. Robin Hood Men in Tights doesn't. He
Nope.
spoofs a
Dra-
particular movie, not a genre.
I
And
agree.
that
Dracula
was the
Dead and
problem.
Loving It.
He was using the Bela Lugosi Dracula, but putting it into the Bram Stoker Dracula. So he's not spoofing the Dracula series. So you can't take Dracula Dead and Loving It and Young Frankenstein and do a double feature. They're two totally different things. So
That's true.
that's my problem with him. And
I
like
agree.
if, you watch High Anxiety after let's say Frenzy, you would still you would get a Hitchcock movie.
Well, I
So
mean, that was the great thing about Airplane. Airplane wasn't just spoofing Airport
it's a
1970s.
disaster film.
It's a disaster. It's spoofing all disaster films.
Yeah.
Naked Gun was spoofing all cop movies, or
So
whatever.
yeah, exactly. So you could watch those with the other disaster films. You could watch Naked Gun with other cop
Well,
movies until it became stuff like Scary Movie and all that stuff where it's just become
And
stuff.
Kentucky Fried Movie was spoofing all Kentucky Fried movies.
Yes, many of them, all 100 of them. Yes.
Hmm.
All of
So
those Kentucky Fried movies. I don't. Anyway, I still liked Spaceballs, but
people love Spaceballs. They love
I
it.
know.
So
I know a guy I saw him the other day wearing a Spaceballs the T-shirt, and that's what it says on it. Spaceballs the T-shirt. So people love it. I mean, I own it on 4K. I'll adore it, but I get it where it's
I
not.
mean, you got same thing with the producers. You got two completely different camps. I love the original producers. I hate the modern one. I hate the
I
modern
love the
one's
original.
so
I hate the
bad.
modern one as well. I like Matthew Broderick, but I don't think I feel weird with him and Nathan Lane in that. It just didn't
It's
feel
crap.
like Gene Wilder and Zero Mostel.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't mean to brag, but I saw it live on stage with Ralph Macchio. Thank you very much.
what
You were
together.
you were hanging out with
You were
Ralph
like his.
Macchio.
You were his plus one.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
you were
We
hanging
went
out.
together. We
You
sat
went
in the same
together.
seat. He only got
Nice,
one seat, but even though I was his plus one, so I had to sit on his lap.
You had to
nice,
sit on his
nice,
lap.
nice.
Did he
Yeah.
talk
You,
about the
you gave
first?
Ralph Macchio a lap dance while
Yeah. Did he talk?
I
Did
I
he
was
tell you?
twerking.
Did he talk about the first thing that popped up? Ah, you
Yep, I
know.
gave him my little Mr. Miyagi.
there you go.
There you go. All
Popped in for a
right.
stiffy.
Oh Lord, this is where we go at the end. Where thank God we did that now. We actually stayed on target.
Yeah,
Throughout
for
the
the
whole
most part,
rest
we
of it.
did.
For
Yeah.
yeah,
There
I
you
don't think.
go.
Yeah,
Then
I
we
don't think.
descent into the gutter as we always do.
I well, it was at the end, so nobody even. I'm surprised if anybody actually listens all the way to the end of these things. Yeah, like if you're listening to the end, please comment. Leave us a comment. Let us
Oh, you just
know.
got to look at the algorithms as they go kind of like this, and then they peak up, and then they just go.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we're done.
Yep.
There's only so much we can take of Indie Film Cafe. But we appreciate you guys all who listen and check us out. We'll be back. The next episode will be mine, and Paul will not be on that one. Paul can't do every single one like he sometimes did, but then we'll be back with Paul again, and it'll be Paul's pick. So that's gonna be the fun part of the season. So
Shall
join
I
us.
give you a hint about what's coming?
No, no, no! Don't give me a
It's
hint.
right here. It's right
No,
here.
no.
Oh,
All right, let me see it because you've already. Let me see it. No. All right, everybody.
oh, look at that face.
You can't tell what that is.
Oh, oh! I can't think of what film that is, though.
That's right. When it wraps up, I'll show you guys what it is.
Okay. All right, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and we will see you guys next week. Until then, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.